All right, all you devils out there, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Sam here with you. Well, it was a little after 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. I had mentioned I was going to try and get an ETH update done on Friday's video, and I just kind of ran out of time. And this, boy, if I don't watch the clock here, all those videos can go 2 hours. So I wanted to just do this in a separate video here. So I thought we'd do it just kind of a quick update, or as quick as I can do it here. There's some complexity and where we are here, and you're going to change your counts here a bit based on where the next leg is heading us. Now, this is my primary. I have this up here in Motive Wave. Just happened to. I do a lot of TA in Motive Wave. If any of you are interested in Motive Wave, I would tell you by far, like not even close second. This is the best trading platform, period. But it's not for everybody, and it's. We have a wide range of prices here, from a few hundred to, I don't know, 15, 1600 for the Mac Daddy here. But there's a lot of flexibility in this. If you want to support the channel, you can click on our link tree and you'll see our link there. You also get a 2-week trial with this product. Anyway, now let's get back to it. So now this part of this count here, of course, is that you've got to be viewing this in log, with semi-log actually in Motive Wave here. So we have to look at, we're going from a low here of $80 to a high of just shy of 5,000, right? With that range, well, let me just say it would certainly warrant a look at it in log scale. Some people resist that because certainly you wouldn't be considering this even as a remote possibility for a wave 4 out of log scale, right? I mean, because we're dropping, that's about a $4,000 drop there down to the wave 4. You would be immediately thinking it was wave 2 just because of the depth of it. But that said, right, we want to consider the semi-log look at it here to get a better perspective on this. So that's a little bit of a, it's a judgment call that you've got to make. Now, I go to log scale or per semi-log here without any hesitation. I know, but you got to make your own decision there. But that aside here, because you could feel free to look at it in arithmetic if you prefer that, you wouldn't come up with this count. Let me say it that way. All right, so per this count here, we can get to a wave 4 here because in log scale we're in between the 38 and the 50 here. We get lovely channeling here. The WXY gets the 3 done in the correction, right? It's just a series of 3s gets us done over here. As I said here, we're right in the pocket of where you'd expect it. Beautiful channeling. Now, of course, we're under the Vegas wave, and looks like we're going to need to finish. Well, certainly we're going to need to finish this last impulse here to give us the proposed, the potential one wave of the 5th wave up here with a target up 25,000. It's our low here from approximately 900 to 24,000. Well, to some degree, I look at this and I think, well, whether it's a 2 or a 4, if it's a 2 and we're just starting the 1 of the 3, well, that 24,000 is going to look like a dramatic under projection of where it could be going. If it's a 4 and we're going up to the 5, well, certainly the structure of it here is going to, if I highlight those lines, the structure of it is going to look, well, we'll leave it at this. It's certainly going to have the right look. Right, the relationship between length of time from 2 to 4, more complexity here. There's a lot of positives with this count, but again, if you don't like this, because it would be easy enough to put the 5 here. We can do it on the fly. You can we'll do that in a second here. We can put the 5 here and call this an ABC down to a 2. You want to do it in arithmetic, that's what you're going to end up with, right? Because you can see the potential 5 here. I'm sticking with this until the market forces me out of it, and this would be a very high-class problem to have. I'm very long of Ethereum, so if I'm changing this because we're blasting so far, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the 5 here rather than up here, and put the 4 over here, and just finish this like that. And then this is going to be, so we'd call this a 1 and this a 2 via an ABC to get it done here. Well, this is just the 1 of the 3, right? So this would be a really high-class problem to have if you're long Ethereum and you're changing this from a 4 to a 2. Well, no, I just kind of screwed all that stuff up. But you got the drift of the count here. I'll put that back together here, and let's see if I can just Control Z it. Oh, look at that. Got it all back together. Okay, there we go. So as I see it, it's just a series of 3s, right? So it gets us down here. So if we're gonna head towards these targets up here in the 25K range, well, what are we doing here, right? At this distance, it looks pretty straightforward. Oh, Okay, what 3, 4? We got one more to go to get us the 5, but that's not. That's we're just going to be starting on that, right? That would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get up here for those upper targets. So looking at it at this distance, excuse me, and as you will often hear me say, Elliott Wave is so much more clear and easier to manage when you're out, at larger time frames, right? So I tell you, I mean, really, 60 minutes and above is really where Elliott gets most effective. Once you go down below that, it can get very squirrely, and you get multiple counts and people disagree. I mean, it gets more difficult. I think the lower you take it down. I mean, I've got people sending me 1 minute charts with Elliott counts on them, which I think is kind of silly because you're going to change it so often. But nonetheless, right, I mean, just to teach his own, I just would tell you here now as we look at this, because we can look at this and go, oh, what's so tricky here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, why do we take it down to a 1 hour or a 2 hour, and you'll see there's going to be trying to nail down the subdivision here of this proposed impulse. Not so easy. Okay, so with that said, I think that's a reasonable count here. Now, we're going to look at 2 counts here, but I'm going to give you the alternate that is, as I mentioned, I was exchanging some charts with members. We'll all know James M. He's one of our more advanced members, a new brown belt. What do we got, 4 or 5 brown belts now? He just recently made that, and this is his count, and I thought this was interesting. Now, talk about bullish. This may be the most bullish ETH count I've seen. So coming off of the 16 low to the 18 high. So it's we've got a bad tick in here, so we have to ignore that. But 1, 2, and then he's trading it here as a 1, 2, right? So the COVID low here is a 2, but rather than complete the 3 here, as I have it, he's going yet again into another 1, 2. So if you think about where this would be projecting, right? So if all of these 3s are going to go 1, 6, 1, 8, and this is the first one, and then we're going to go again, and then we're going to go again. Well, again, 25,000 is going to look like, a dramatic under projection of where this could be going. Now, this is extremely bullish, right? Now, okay, right? So again, does it really affect what we're projecting here? Because whether you're calling this 3, 4 or 1, 2, kind of as I was just suggesting, again, you're creating like the problems you hope you have, that you've under projected the potential here. So, but let's just look at this, because at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? We've got an impulse, and then we're doing a correction via an expanded B. So he's doing it through a flat. So we're going to go A, B, C, A, B, C, and then he's finishing with this very wide expanded diagonal. I mean, it's certainly valid. Certainly valid, right? I mean, it wouldn't be how I would count it necessarily, but that's why I like to exchange charts with other skilled Elliotticians, right? I get a different perspective. I'm always curious how members are approaching it. My issue with this is I think the balance is just this is what it would look like, right? Which I think is always a good habit to get into. Again, ask yourself, does it have the right look? Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a disqualifying look, but if I were going to pick, again, my view is always, if I can simplify the bloody thing, let's simplify, right? This just looks like a 3 to me. Now, we can complicate the hell out of it, but, broad strokes here of swing structure sure looks like a 3, right? Now, is this valid? Yeah, it is valid. All right, so we again, how you get here, what really now we want to focus on is what's happening on the hard right edge, right? So now, as to how we're labeling all of this, depending on where this is going, we'll come back here and adjust, right? Maybe this is too ambitious to call this another 1. Maybe so 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. And so, of course, this could be the 5, and this is the 2. Again, these are very high-class problems. If we're projecting here and relabeling here because it's gone so far, we've got to come back here and adjust. Again, problems I hope I have. All right, so with that said, let's just focus in on what's happening here off of our low here. So what will we put our low here? 885, right? So this is the bit that is a bit of a challenge here, right? I mean, no question about it, right? So there's the combination of, okay, well, let's just look at the TA, right? How does the swing structure look, right? Do we look like we've got the potential for this to be a good low, and off we go? Our sponsor for today's video is BitGet.com. Established in 2018 and registered in Singapore, BitGet is currently serving over 2 million users in more than 50 countries around the world. There are 296 coins and 354 trading pairs available on the exchange. BitGet's 24-hour volume typically ranges around 300 million, meaning you'll find excellent liquidity. And while BitGet offers you a wide variety of spot trading pairs, where it really shines is in the derivatives markets. Here, BitGet is among the top 10 exchanges worldwide by trading volume and offers 95 trading pairs. Signing up is fast and easy with no KYC requirement for trading. That said, KYC clients will have access to additional features of which you can learn more via these drop-down menus at the top. Once you've signed up, you can fund your account by depositing crypto or purchasing crypto. If you click the link below this video in the description and you fund your account with $1,000 or the crypto equivalent, you'll be eligible for a $150 bonus or a free month of the TradeDevils University educational membership, a $200 value. Well, of course, we have the merge coming. I think it's the 18th. So we've got this event that's potentially a catalyst. Now, we don't want to assume that it's a bullish catalyst, right? That's what the market is assuming. But of course, we can recognize that it's software, right? And things can go wrong. And if something does go wrong, right, you're going to see a pretty dramatic sell-off. Now, is that enough to pull all of crypto down? Well, it would not be without its impact, right? It would certainly have a ripple effect. So let's be prepared for something to launch, right? So if we got a catalyst here that bulls were enthusiastic about and we saw the market being bought, well, let's be prepared for that. But should there be any sort of a hiccup or we get a little bit of a ramp into the news and then sell the fact, some of that, right? I don't think if we got that, what you'd likely see is some sort of a little pump and dump. Now, do we go down and take out this low? That's questionable. But then I think long term, you're likely headed higher. There are no absolutes, there's no certainty, no guarantees, but if my hunch, right, again, just a lot of years of doing this, if we're going to have any sort of a sell-off, it would be an opportunity in my view. Okay, so let's just go down here and just kind of dig into this count. Oh shit, what am I on here? Let's go to a 2 hour here and see if we can make sense of this, because it gets a little tricky here. Now, of course, right at the distance on a daily or a 2 day right here. I mean, what's hard, right? Not too hard. Oh, it's 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no problem. Again, the advantage of Elliott at a higher degree. You come down here to the 2 hour. This gets a little trickier. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't do this, but recognize that it's a lot easier to put a wave count when you're out on a daily or as I was just looking at on a 2 day. All right, well, we want to be able to get down into the subdivision here and see if it merits the labeling here. And this is often the case. This can be counted a couple of different ways. So as it is right now, what I think is the most probable, right? So if we think about the idea that we put in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're trying to put that together and we're trying to do that over here. Well, if this is the big low here, the potential 2 per his count or 4 per my count, well, how are we getting out of here? Okay, well, here's our pivot. If this is going to hold, well, all right, how can I get here? Well, to me, this looks like the simplest count, right? So we're going to go 1, 2. Now there's a little A, B, C here. You could have thought of this as A, B, C here, and then we did a flat. Although on closer inspection, this looks more like a 5, right, via diag. So I think we go 1, 2, and then yet again 1, 2. So we're going from this 1, 2. We get a completed impulse here via the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got that 3 in via this impulse, and then we're going to go 4, and then we finish the 5 here with this diag, right? So we get an expanding diag, 1, 2, 3 longer than 1. 5 longer than 3. So we get this expanding diag here to give us a contender here for a completed 1 wave, right? So the division being here's the internal impulse, right, which we need. I guess I probably change that color. We need that to give us a good 3 here, so that we can. So we're looking at this going, is it A, B, C? Is this the 2 over here? Well, if that's the case, right, it doesn't quite play as well, because the subdivision here to get you to that 3, it doesn't play as well as the 1, 2. Here's the impulse 3, A, B, C into the 4. Right, I'm assuming you guys kind of follow along there with some Elliott knowledge, right? So this looks like a decent completed. Here, I just took that, strung those 2 together. So here's the 1. Well, next spot that presents a little bit of a challenge to an Elliottician is, well, if we look here, it sure does look like a 5. I mean, it looks like a 5, but okay, but at first glance, okay, maybe. Now, is there the possibility here that we're trying too hard there, right? Let's get that out of there. Because if you look at the 2 relative to the 4, you might hesitate just a little bit and go, See, if I can do it, I want to try and complete impulses in one swing like this. So I think it's not unreasonable to consider, oh shit, we could do this a couple of different ways. We could have done it this way. Get you out of here. Right, so we could do one, oh shit, we could do it a couple of different ways. We could do it this way. Oh fuck, I don't even know what matters, right? It actually looks like there's a little diag here to get you to that 5, 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, skinny 4, right? So, you know, don't expect it to be perfect, right? So we're kind of looking here, you know, is this a force fit, or are we just accommodating what appears to be the broader swing structure? See, that looks to me like you could certainly trade that as you could interpret that. I should probably a better way to say it. You can interpret that as a 3. Well, if that's a 3, let's think about that. If that's a 3, we'd have a candidate here for this to be an A, and this to be a B, and this to be a C. Right? So, and you can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. So we'd have an A, B, C. Well, okay. So then you're thinking, well, okay, well, wait a minute. If that's 1 and this is 2, right? That would be a shallow, right? So, I mean, I suppose at this range here, what's my range here? So here, yeah, I've got a range here. I could take it out of log scale here, because now I'm not looking at 800 to 5,000. I'm looking at 890 to 2,000, right? So I don't need it to be in log scale here. So now if I pull here from my proposed wave 1 low and I pull here, okay, well, see, that's what would make you think, oh, maybe that 5 is, maybe I look a little bit closer, because there, now here in arithmetic, right? Because I'm not looking at the same range. That ABC looks pretty solid. Now, what happened here? Well, of course, we know what happened here, right? An algo fired, right? That's all that happened. So it starts to look a little bit better per that interpretation. Well, but then of course, you know, this is the, oh, welcome to trading, right? So then you look at it and say, well, wait a minute now, am I force fitting a bias here, right? Is it possible that I'm doing that? Well, if this is the 2 here at this degree, boy, this is an ugly looking start. I mean, ugly. Jesus, let's see. Oh, where do I have it? I think I have this already labeled. Let's see, do I? Yeah, I do. Okay, so this would be an alternate here, but just for the time being here, let's just focus on this here, and I'll take you through the alternate here as to how we might get this done. Because this is a bit of a bitch right here. Okay, so if this is the low right down here, and we're saying, okay, that's the 2. Whoa, hell, how are we getting out of here, right? I mean, that just sure doesn't look like an impulse, does it? And it's hard to even make this fly as a diag. Now, with a little bit of, okay, we got to really kind of dig into it. You can make this fly via an expanded B, but you got to do the B via WXY. So you can get this done here as a 1. Here's the 1. Then we're going to, oh, it's probably easier to do it this way. So then we're going to go from the 1, we're going to go into the A, and then I'm going to do an ABC into a W, ABC into an X, and then I'm going to go, oh, here, I'll just label it. Here, I should have labeled this. I'm going to go A, B, C into a Y here to get a WXY into a B before I come down and scream into a 5. See, because this is what's driving it. Here's the impulse I got to deal with, right? We're coming down in an impulse. So how am I going to get from here and deal with that impulse? It's about the best way I can see it here. Now, because this is a straight, right? That would be such a harsh force fit to try and turn that into a 3 that I think you got to stay with an impulse here. 3 here, right? You might have been thinking B, but then you get this. So you've got to do W, X, Y and expand the B, and then the hammer down for the C is just a straight 5. So you're essentially doing this here via 1, 2, and now, right? What are we doing here? Well, if we've topped here, that's not the 3. Right? So what's the potential here? The potential is that this is 1 of 3. Again, high-class problem, right? Now, all of this assumes that we're going to carry on here. So we might have, we don't know that the 5 is in. Because this looks like, oh shit, you could be going 1, 2, 3 sideways for the 4, and there's another leg up here. There could be more in this. Right now, I mean, what am I on? That's a 3 hour here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how far that goes here. Now, of course, what are we going to run into? Right? We know this, right? We don't even have to wonder where the resistance is going to be, right? We got. As we came to it, right now you can kind of see that, oh boy, wouldn't that just be right on the money, right? We know there's going to be an algorithm here. Oh, is there anything I'm missing here? I don't think so. I think we've got this pretty covered. So what I would, interesting here, this would be right in line with that prior structure here. So I would want to know, right? So, oh shit, I'd probably do it up here. Just add an alert. I just add an alert here. Oh, let's create it, right? So if we're going higher here, so if this starts to push higher and we go, we don't know if it's going to be this weekend or not, but if we start to push higher here, you're going to eliminate some of the threat here that this is corrective. So let me go back to the other count here as pardon my bouncing around here. All right, so if this is going to stay as a 5, right? As I had oh shit, here let me do it. As I had originally labeled it here. So we had the 4 was over here and the 3 is down here. If this is going to play as a 5, right? Well, I'm either starting or ending something here, right? So if we stick with the 1 here, the 5 is either got to start or end something. Well, if it's per the ABC here, right? We're not worried about the 5, but if it's a 5, well, what would be your first thought, right? Per where we are, if that's a 5 and we're doing something corrective here, wouldn't that be your thought? Well, then you'd look here and you'd say, well, wait a minute. Okay, well, then where if this is going to be the B, well, then now we just put on the same measured move, right? And you're like, oh, well, I can sure see how that could play, right? We've got 5 down here right now. This is. We don't know, right? Is it a 3 or a 5, right? Because you can really do it either way. This strikes me as perhaps the more probable of the two, right? So if we come down here, this being an A, this going into a B, and then we'd be looking for the C. Now look where the algo target is here, right at the golden zone here. So this would be, let's take this up, micro, and put it in yellow. All right, now I know I'm going through these very fast, right? So you can always stop and bring it up on your own chart, and I'm always curious, certainly members, what you've got, and if you disagree strongly, I'd be curious to see your account, right? And I think it really the whole premise comes down to how are you interpreting that, right? Because you could do it as a 3 or a 5, right? I mean, it finishes with a beautiful 5 here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if it's A, B, C, you got all the ingredients here. And that's a little bit of a squish to get the A done here and put the 4, shit, you could double bottom it. You could put the 4 here. There's a couple of different ways you can get it done. But this is going to dictate what comes. Well, pardon me. Let me rephrase that. Once we see what happens here, then we're going to know how we label this, right? Because this is influencing what's here, right? Do we get a 3 or a 5 here? Well, this is a mighty tricky 5 to get, as we just looked at. It's more simple to get an A, B, C into that, right? So then you're just doing a nice little 3 there. So what's the trade? Well, I don't know that I would be overly aggressive going into the merge. I mean, I'm long as a hodler, right? So I'm not really sweating it. But in terms of new money to put at risk or at work, right? You got to think of it both ways. I don't know that I'd be aggressive on either side of it. I'd almost rather let the news hit, see how the market responds to it. Again, it's software. Shit can go wrong, right? So I would like to see how the market responds to it, because we've got target, the conservative target, the conservative target here is 25,000 and change. So if I don't buy it at 1800 or 1750, if I don't buy it there, I'm not really worried about missing that ride, right? And that be careful about that concern, right? FOMO, getting you to chase a trade here, because if we get a pop up, a retrace will come, right? It always does, always. There's always a retrace coming, right? Because just human beings, we can't resist taking profit. Can't resist it. Too tempting, right? Or shorts have to cover, or people have to take profit. Just a retrace is inevitable, right? So don't FOMO chase something. You're going to be pissed, right? And you're going to be like, God damn, look at all the money people are making that are already long. But if you start thinking that, God, walk away, get your hands off the mouse, because I can promise you're going to buy the high. You've got to be. You can't trade emotionally like that. You've got to wait. I don't care how far that thing goes. You got to wait for the retrace, or you will buy the top, or you're like, I can't take it anymore. It's going. I got to buy it. You'll buy the high. It's just how the markets work. All right. So if this is 5 and we're doing a 3 here, well, we should know pretty quickly, right? I mean, back to, let's go to this, right? If this is done here, if we're putting in a top here, well, we should know, right? Even if it goes a little further, we get up to the golden zone. Maybe this ends up being the 3, the 4 is over here, and we're going to go a little higher and get into something like this. Well, I mean, this can only go so far before we're rethinking the entire thing, right? I mean, again, high class problem. If we just start to launch here, whoa, we got to rethink things. I mean, how are you going to do it? I mean, I suppose that you'd find yourself trying to get the 5 in here. So you'd put 3, 4, 5, and you'd put a tiny little 2, and then 3, 4, 5, right? Because we're going to get something that rips out of here with the legs from the merge. So we got to be prepared about that. But again, think about this, right? I mean, if you're considering, oh man, I want to get long before the merge. I want to get long. You're between the 50 and the golden zone. That's not. See, I don't want to say don't buy it, right? Because if it launches here, oh, that fucker told me not to buy it. I'm just saying, if you are a buyer here, understand, just be absolutely certain you understand where you're buying it, right? The one thing I can absolutely promise you, there's a sell-side algo selling it right now. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it's going down here. That doesn't mean that algo, the people behind it, they don't give a fuck. They don't care if they're right or wrong here. They do not care. You will care. They will not care, because it'll break and they'll just take the next one. They don't care, right? You care, right? So do you want to be buying right here? I would caution you. And if you feel like, screw you, Sam, I'm buying it because I think it's going higher. Well, maybe don't over lever, spot, no leverage, right? So if it drops down, right, you're a hodler, right? So just be mindful of where you'd be buying it here, right? My proposal to you is merge or not, right? Let's see what happens here, right? Okay, do we get a retrace? Right now, no, if we get, oh God, the merge is going to be huge, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Right? Wouldn't that be right, the better way to approach it? See, if it's good news, now you're just waiting for the profit taking. So be careful in there. Right? So the other thing that we have to recognize is whenever there's a big event like that, right? Whales will use that against you, right? It makes your greed starts to factor in, right? I mean, it's always a factor, but they'll use your greed against you. Oh, the merge is going to be huge. Ethereum's going to the moon. They'll use that emotion against you. Careful about that, right? So thus the point of doing this, like, because I know people look at this and go, "Are you fucking kidding me? What's the point of all that? Well, why are you doing all that, right? Well, what the fuck? Okay, put a moving average on it." I get comments like that on a fairly regular basis. I'm always astonished they actually sit through one of these videos. Okay, you want to just put a moving average on it? Okay, I just wouldn't put money at risk. That's just lazy. This is lazy. Just lazy trading. Oh, fuck it. That's too much work. Fuck it. I'll just throw a 20 and a 50 on and buy it. You know, I mean, if you're comfortable with that and that works for you, well, have at it, right? That's just not how I would approach it. It's not what we would teach, right? It's just, if this is too much work for you, well, obviously you're on the wrong channel and you're studying the wrong technical approach, right? I mean, there are plenty of easier ways. Fuck, buy a bot and let a bot do it, right? I mean, there's no shortage of easier ways to trade the market. But I remind you, if it were that easy, right, wouldn't we all be rich? Wouldn't we all be trading from our yachts in the south of France? Oh, shit, man, I just put a moving average on and just buy it. Oh, I bought this bot now, and after I bought that bot, now I bought this yacht. My private plane's going to be picking me up in Cannes. I mean, seriously, guys, I mean, it's not supposed to be easy. And I promise you, it's not. And if you come in here, you're thinking, oh, fuck, this is going to be easy money. Oh, God, are you in for a very rude awakening? So let's... here I am digressing. Nonetheless, here we have this kind of... What's really happening here? There's a whole lot of sideways, right? Now we're drifting higher, merge, right? It's going to be great. We're going to explode. But really, are we not just kind of in a box here between two 50s? And pull that out to a 4 and look at that. Right now, is that really where you want? If anything, just looking at the box, right? When the market goes into a range, we want to sell the highs and buy the lows, right? So buying here, okay, I'm buying the breakout. Well, you know my views on buying breakouts. Oh, I'm going to buy the breakout. Okay, broke out. Well, how much room do I have till the next resistance? Not much. You know, think, guys, think, right? See, here, I know it's going to change. It's going to go, right? But if it goes, right, and you can anticipate, right, we're going to likely come back here and test all this. Not guaranteed, but wouldn't that be a reasonable spot to see that to come back and test? What happens here? Bunch of supply? Or buyers just drive it higher? You know, I mean, this is what makes trading both frustrating, too, endlessly challenging. You never master it. Never. I've been doing this for 30 years. I make mistakes weekly. I mean, you never master it, or I misinterpret something or misread. But I mean, again, the point, I'm taken to trying to remind you of this. The point is not to be right about, oh shit, look at that. Oh, I got a WXY in there. Fuck, my count was right. That's never the point. The point is to be profitable. If you can be profitable just putting a 50 and a 200, man, more power to you. You want to do a little more work, but you want to learn how to do this, really kind of nail it down? I think we could probably help you. All right, so I think I got everything covered there. I've got bull count, bear count. Yeah, let's come one more time back over here. Yeah, this would be interesting to see, right? So I might even bring this down a little bit to that pivot right there. All right, we see right there. If we start breaking above some of this, right, then this is going to start to get more interesting, right? It's also more challenging as to how we're going to count this. Right now, it looks like we're going in. It's like right on schedule. Like it can't get there any more perfectly set up to complete this. What are we completing? Right? What are we completing? Is it 1, 2, 1, 2? That's that's the implication, right? So if I'm again drawing it, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Right? That's the implication per what we're seeing. Now, do we get that? Right? We don't know. Let's get the 1, 2 before we even start thinking about the 3, 4. Right, now, is that what we're going to get? Or, right, as I just showed you, right, with the alternate is A, we're going to go B, and we're going to go C. Right, put that back out. Oh, let's go to an 8-hour. Is that ruining anyone's day? Again, where would that put us? Right, if this is the 1, back to the 50. Oh shit, pardon me. Oh, okay, this is actually, I wanted to show you this. Let me do that again. Okay, so right now, if we're going to go here, and this is our target here. Let me take it out of log scale again. Okay, so we're going to come down for the 50. Now, if I go from here, remember here, I've got a 1, 2, and then yet another 1, potentially 2 here. So so think about that for a second. The algo does not care even a little bit about the Elliott count, right? This is not even a factor. All the algo is looking at is swing to swing. So if I'm going 1, 2, right, with my Elliott hat on, I completed 1, and here's my 2. All right, so let me take the sell side off, just to clarify this. For the bull count here, if it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go up from here, and the correction is the expanded B that gives us this 5 down, right? This is the alternate bull count. Well, think about that for a second, because this completes an impulse. So this 2 is relative to the start of the 1 here. So it's a different pull, right? Again, Elliott hat is on. Right, so if I'm going here, this is the completed 1, A, B, C. I'm at a slight front run off of the 50. Okay, right, slight front run, okay. But an algo is not going to do it that way. An algo is going to do it from, well, the one we know they're going to do is dominant to dominant, right? There's the dominant. Swing low to swing high. Well, we know it's going to be, now it would be here at other places. Shit, looks like we got one here. I mean, it's going to be in here all over the place. Here's one, right? That looked like that got second target. These were too deep, but I mean, it's going to be in, look at the reaction here. You're going to see these over and over and over again. Now here they're breaking, right? So you down a pivot, right? Just as the algo will do it. So here, if we're thinking about what's the algo doing, right? Again, the algo doesn't care what this an expanded B, well, retrace 50, reaction. Now, if it's A, B, C, right? Now you're putting the 2 maybe over here. You rethink, now you're back to, oh, wait a minute, that original count, right, where we went 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, right? So the next swing, are we heading up or down, is going to dictate how we're ultimately going to count this and where the next trade setup is going to be. Where do I want to buy it? I want to buy it right here. I'm kind of hoping for the BC, so that if we're a little soft next week, right? I know that sounds counterintuitive, right? But in terms of the strategic buy, that's where I want to buy it. Look at how sweet this all sets up. What would I have there? Right, of course, right, I'd have golden corner. All right, now start to think about where that's going. All right, through all this way, all this goes way up here, right? So we're just trying to get the 3, 4, 5 here. This goes all out of here, right? Do I get the 1, 2? So this would actually be, that would be the A, B, C, and then we'd start. Oh shit! Here I fucked this up there. So we'd 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going higher, right? So 1, 2. Next up is the impulse. Here's where I would love to buy it. Now, I don't know. So that's just kind of looking through the scenarios here. If I can buy it here at a golden zone with a golden corner, yeah, I'm going to be aggressive there. But this all has to happen, right? So just be prepared for any, right? So we've just got a plan for if it's going to rally out of here. I can get you out of here. If we're going to rally out of here, okay, well, we know what to think, right? 1, 2, 1. What's next, right? We're going to come down for the 2. Oh, Jesus. We're going to come down for the 2 via 3, and we're going to buy it here. What's the one part of this that we haven't really considered, right? What if this is just an A, B, C, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's no shortage of bears that think that's possible. A, B, C, right? So all the gyrations we just went through right here to get to a one wave here could just bear's can look at that and go, oh, A, B, C. Oh, perfect, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're down we go, right? And then the whole thing, right, takes on an entirely different count. This would be 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C of a W, X, Y, X, Z. All sorts of ways this can go lower. Right, so we can't just be thinking, oh my God, right? There's no possible way it could break that pivot. It just cannot happen. Oh yeah, it can. All right, guys, there's a whole lot to chew on, plenty to think about. a couple of different ways you can interpret that. I'd have 2 or 3 different counts, right? If you want to be prepared for anything, right? Then you're just off of this one, over to this one. You're ready for action. Where's the next retrace, right? That's ultimately, right? If we're going up, where's the next retrace to buy? If we roll over here, well, I'm still, until we break this pivot, whatever's happening here, even if we break the golden zone, I'm still looking to be a buyer down here until we break that pivot. Then, no, something else is going on. Okay, guys, there's a whole lot to chew on. I hope that helps you. You get a few ideas. Lots of links below. Of course, our sponsor, BitGet here, where you see I'm on BitGet right now, right? And you can look for a detailed kind of walkthrough of their exchange. It's really easy to use, fast exchange. The reason to be trading on BitGet is because you like trading futures. Really, really well done if you're a futures trader. Okay, so with that, I will just encourage you guys to join us if you'd like to. You can always come over and join us for free in the White Belt program, right? That's just to come on in. You get started, 4 hours of training right there, and get you, kind of a dose of the whole environment in the community. And lots of links in our link tree if you're interested in some of the things that we recommend. And of course, our link underneath for our sponsor, BitGet. And if you are interested in that, you need to sign up, deposit $1,000 or the crypto equivalent. You'll qualify for either a $150 bonus from them or a free month of the educational membership from us and take on your blue belt. Okay, guys, have a good weekend, and I will catch you later.